there seems to be a growing debate about safe injection sites, where they are located, and the potential issues associated with them. Now, this comes following the daytime shooting and killing of a mother near a safe injection site in downtown Toronto this summer. And one journalist is sounding the alarm on the potential dangers of safe injection programs in this community after the death of Carolina Hubner-Macarat near the South Riverdale Community Health Center in Leslieville in July. Well, joining us now is Mr. Derek Finkle, a resident of Leslieville and the author of The Needles and the Damage Done Inside Our Neighborhood's Battle Over Unsafe Injection, Crime, and Murder in the National Post. Mr. Finkle, thank you again for your time today.
You're very welcome. Nice to be here.
So can you tell us a little bit more about how your community has been reacting to the shooting death of Miss Hubner-Macarat last July? What sort of impact did this have on your community?
Well, I think it's important to say that there were a lot of concerns being aired by the community about the safe injection site before the murder on July 7th, this summer, of Carolina Hubner-Macarat. But what happened was those concerns were being largely ignored for a very long time. I mean, we're talking years. And really what that very sad, tragic killing did was it finally got our concerns taken more seriously, not just by the health center that houses the South Riverdale Community Health Center that houses the safe injection site, but also the province, the police, the board of the community health center, local politicians, federal politicians, provincial politicians. So I think it changed the way that the community, it made the community more fearful and more generally aware of what was going on around the health center, as opposed to those like myself who live in very close proximity to it. So I think it created more fear and more concern in a wider area of the community.
And as you highlighted, this injection site has been something of concern for community members even before the murder of Miss Macarat. So can you tell us a little bit more about their concerns, their experiences when this injection site was situated in their community?
Sure. Well, the injection site opened in late 2017. And I would say that the changes around the perimeter of the safe injection site didn't happen overnight. But certainly by, within a year or two, we started to notice a lot more needles than we used to. There started to be more open use. We started by 2019 to see drug dealing on a fairly regular basis. And by, early 2020, myself and a number of other local residents, we didn't know that we were all contacting the center separately at the time, but we found out later we were all meeting with the director of the safe injection site in 2021, and we were all basically, in a nutshell, pretty flabbergasted that a safe injection site that's situated literally 60 meters from a junior public school with 500 students would allow open use, drug dealing, violence, needle, drug paraphernalia everywhere. I mean, it just didn't seem to make any sense. And we asked the director then of the safe injection site, we pleaded with her name was Leah Palmer, to provide security. And she said that there's no budget for security for these sites. And these concerns, and she said she would look into security, look into funding for security, and then just basically never got back to any of us. And that's just one way we were communicating our concerns to the center. There were other ways as well I won't get into now, but the center, the safe injection site, basically ignored the community's very valid concerns, especially the proximity to the schools. There are 2 schools and 3 daycares within 130 meters of the safe injection site. There are more than 1,000 children a day who travel by that very community center. And you have to let that sink in. You're talking about a community health center.
Now,
And
Mr.
children are
Finkle,
afraid to walk by it.
some concerning things you bring up to us, sir. Just a quick 45 seconds left here. But on the other hand, we have people arguing that safe injection sites reduce the likeliness of overdoses amid the opioid crisis. So how do we find balance between harm reduction and community safety? What needs to be done or changed in order to strike this right balance?
Yeah, I guess there's 2 parts to your answer. I'll say it very quickly. I mean, unfortunately, ultimately you get into a conversation about competing interests. There are 50 people who use the safe injection site on average every month, and there are 500 children who go to the one school I was referring to half a block away. So, that school is probably going to be completely fenced in and gated in so that they can't access it on the weekends and use the soccer field and use it at night. One of the possible options that's been tabled by our member of parliament, Julie DeBruzen, is to go to a more mobile option where the safe injection goes to the people instead of the people creating a drug den or a hub around drugs in a bricks and mortar fashion, which is what we have now. Because I think that these safe injection sites were sort of experimental, and I think we've seen enough of them now to know that it is almost impossible for these sites to provide the safety required, expected by their neighbors, especially the children.
All right, Mr. Finkle, thank you again for your time today.
You're very welcome. Thanks.